Angela. I have a very different type of video for you today. Right now, my husband and I, hello, are in the process of driving from the Villages down to Miami to take a brand new cruise. Well, brand new to us. In the past, we've been on Royal Caribbean and Norwegian and Disney way back when the kids were younger. But I've been hearing a lot of chatter about Virgin Cruise Line and how it's supposed to be really different in a good way from other cruises we've taken in the past. So I can't wait to share this with you, take you along, show you some things, tell you what we think, and in the end, tell you if this is something that we would go do again. Well, we made it in only 4.5 short hours, so not bad at all. We're in the terminal, we're getting ready to get on board. Since we talked with you last, we just got off the boat and we are on our way home, obviously, and we thought we would fill you in on all the great details while it's still fresh in our mind. We decided to take a 4-day cruise to kind of dip our toe in the water with this cruise line and see how we liked it. We ended up going to Key West. We went to Bimini, Bahamas, and they have their own little private area there, and we had 1 day at sea. Now, when you book the cruise, they have you put the app on your phone because you're going to do a lot of things on that app, checking your dinner reservations, looking for different classes that they offer and shows during the day. Everything's really going to be done on the app. The one thing that was really cool about this cruise line is a lot more things are included in the price that you pay up front. Your tips are already included. You get free Wi-Fi. They include all your pop, all your juices are pretty much included in the price. And you know how there's a lot of themed restaurants on Royal Caribbean that you can try out, smaller restaurants, but you have to pay to go to all of them. They work it differently on Virgin. So it's all themed restaurants that are smaller. There is no one main dining room, and it's all included. Now, there were some differences, some cool differences in the rooms that we have not had on Royal before.
Instead of an ID card, they give you a bracelet, an electronic placement bracelet, and you can open your room with it. You can charge things with it. When you get on and off the ship, you use the bracelet. So it was nice on not having to carry anything. So once you're in the room, there's a small iPad, and that can control the lighting, that controls the television, as well as the heating and cooling. So that was nice. And then lastly, if you wanted any room services or more towels or have your room cleaned, you can let them know from the iPad as well.
Oh, and if you go on Virgin, this was a little bit different. We did not expect this. We weren't used to it. So we're in our cabin on, I think it was the first day, and all of a sudden we hear the doo-doo, doo-doo, and we're like, oh, there's going to be an announcement, right? We're waiting for an announcement. We didn't realize we have a doorbell, and the cabin steward was outside pressing the doorbell. Well, it took us a little bit to kind of get used to that. So anyways, if you take that cruise, you hear that, it's probably your doorbell. The other thing we thought was really cool, so you know how when you get on a cruise and you got to go through the whole safety drill and the muster station and all that stuff, on Virgin they have you watch a video first, a safety video in your room. I've never seen a safety video like this in my life. It was very entertaining. It was like you're watching like a concert or something, but it was your safety drill. And then basically after that, you have to go and check in at your muster station, and that's it. You're done. Okay, so now let's get into the food and some of the different things that we did. So tonight is our first night on the cruise. We are in the test kitchen where they cook everything in front of you. They have a regular menu and I'm told they have a vegan menu, so I am really excited to see what they've got in store for us. It's kind of like Wonderland if you've been on Royal Caribbean. It's just this kind of, it's a really cool atmosphere on the inside, and it's a little bit foo-foo, a little unique, and just the presentation of the food is top notch. And the menu is such that it just says like mushroom, scallop, beef, chocolate. I mean, that's it, one word basically for all the different things that you're going to get. Now, if you're vegan, they do have a vegan option there. So they do have something for you. Now, our thoughts on it. What did you think of the first meal there?
You know, it was unique. That's all I can say. There was this one dish that had a bunch of peas and the yolk of a sunny side egg in the middle of it, and some kind of caviar on the outside of it. You know, you had to be willing to experiment a little bit, hence the name Test Kitchen. I did get a filet, and it had this zip sauce on it, which was good, but it also had pickled blueberries on it, which I never had fruit with a steak before.
What did you think of that mushroom dish, that first one that came out?
They had like this pureed mushroom that was put in the shape of a mushroom, but it tasted good.
Yeah, I mean, it was very interesting. There were some good flavors, but honestly, I did not leave that place thinking like, oh, I'm just so satisfied with that comfort, meal. It was like so good, I'm going to think about it forever, But it was worth going and checking it out. All right, and then day number 2, we ended up going up to the galley for breakfast. Now, this is different from Royal as well. And picture it like a food court. So they have different stalls of different little restaurants. They had this panini place where you could get avocado toast in the morning, toast with like salmon on top. They had bento boxes that you could just go up and take one as you wanted. They had a Mexican place, they had a diner, they had a burger place, they had a salad place, and then they had a sweets place. So lots of different options up in the galley, and that was always open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and the diner is open 24 hours. So then after breakfast, we ended up getting off the boat. We were in Key West that day. So we got off maybe 8:30 in the morning, which was really nice because the streets weren't crowded at all. Stores were still open, not all, but a lot of them were. So we just strolled all the way up and down Duval Street. The cool thing, and a lot of you probably know this, there's roosters and hens running around everywhere. And apparently that started out as a good thing there because they would eat the grubs and different, bugs. But I guess now the place is getting overrun. But overall, Key West is a great place. You could go rent a moped there. They had golf carts to rent if you really wanted to just tour around. We just walked, and we ended up seeing plenty just walking around. Then we ended up going to lunch at this place called Razzle Dazzle. Now, that is my kind of restaurant because part of the menu was vegan items or vegetarian, and part of the menu is called the naughty side of the menu, and that's all your regular stuff. So if you are a couple who eat differently, you've got plenty of choices for both of you. I ended up having the Impossible Burger, and that was good. I actually really liked it. The French fries were really good. I loved the seasoning on them. They were crispy on the outside, but really soft in the middle. But then the desserts. So you had
some kind of chocolate cake thing.
It was called a Razzle cake. It looked really good, and if you're a chocolate lover, that would be for you. So I ended up trying this rainbow churro dish for dessert. I loved it. I was like in heaven. That was my favorite dessert on the whole cruise. Okay, and then that night we went to Italian. It's called Extra Virgin. Is the restaurant name on the ship.
Every course that I had was really good. One of the best pasta bolognese I've ever had. I had a really good steak there that was seasoned perfectly. They had these meatballs that were really good. I had some of those. It was all good. I would highly recommend that. The only problem with with Virgin Cruises is you can only make one reservation per restaurant per night. So if you wanted to go to Italian, for example, multiple nights, you wouldn't be able to get a reservation. You'd have to show up either before 6 o'clock or after 9 o'clock. And if they have room, they'll seat you.
Yeah. I think it's because they want you to try out their different restaurants for dinner. We're just talking about dinner here. Breakfast, you can make your reservation in the Wake or Razzle Dazzle, and same with lunch. And there are lots of different little eateries all over the boat. But for dinner, the main dining rooms, they'll let you book at one time on that app. And like he said, then you can kind of see if you can sneak in if you want to eat there more than one night. I had the soup, I think it was called rollini or something like that. It was really good. Loved it. And then the artichoke, which is another appetizer, off the chain. I was dead on the floor. It was really good. This artichoke, I'm dead on the floor, as my daughter would say. It's really, really good. If you come on Virgin Cruises, you have got to come to this extra virgin. Wow. That's amazing. Then I think I had a pasta that had like an olive oil and garlic and a little red pepper. So it just had a little spice, not really hot. That was very good. And I tried their marinara as well. I mean, it tasted to me almost as good as the pasta that I remember having in Italy. Oh, also the pasta in this restaurant is made daily, homemade. So, and you can taste the difference. So day 3 was at sea. We did a whole lot of eating. We went to Razzle Dazzle again for breakfast. Just have your standard, eggs, and they do have vegan sausages or regular sausages for you to pick from. I did have another churro. That was the day I had my second churro. Then for lunch, we ate up in the galley, and I ended up having a ramen noodle bowl, which I was super excited that they even had those offered there. It was okay as far as the broth goes. I don't know. I would give it probably a 5 or a 6 out of 10. I just feel like I was missing some more flavor for me. We spent a lot of time by the pool that day, just kind of enjoying the atmosphere. It's so weird because the first day we were on the boat, we went out on the deck at nighttime and took a picture of kind of what it looked like. And there was really no one out there. It was really quiet. And then the day that we were at sea, of course, the pool gets loaded with people. So we just enjoyed people watching, listening to the music. It was a whole nother vibe having everyone out there by the pool. So then day 3, we finally went to our first show. It was called Dual Reality. And that was pretty darn cool. There was a lot of different acrobatic stuff going on. People hanging from the ceiling doing stuff. Hula hoop things with like lots of hula hoops. You're like going, how does this person doing this? Different kind of show than we would normally see on Royal. Then that night was our late night going to dinner. We went and tried this restaurant called Gumbe. And I thought it was like a hibachi, okay? Which it kind of was. When you go to hibachi, typically you have a big grill and you are sitting with people that you don't know. You know how it's always a little, you're like, I don't know, how is this gonna go? We don't know these people. It might feel a little uncomfortable at first. But what they did is they had me play a drinking game together. And that really opened everybody up to conversation. And it ended up to be fine in the end. Now the food there,
it wasn't our cup of tea, so to speak. If you like Korean barbecue, you might like this place. We don't really care for those flavors. I had some shrimp that was very bland. It was basically just fried in peanut oil, and that was it. They had these dipping sauces. One was soy sauce, one was sesame seed peanut oil. Who's
dipping anything in sesame oil? I feel like that wouldn't really taste that great at all.
Yeah, and the last one was this Korean barbecue sauce, but I'm more of a Kansas City barbecue sauce type of a person.
If we were to go on the cruise again, I would definitely not go to that restaurant, us personally. So then our last day of the cruise, which was yesterday, that was the day that we were going to Bimini, and the beach area for Bimini was phenomenal, beautiful. They had a couple of really large pools. They had those sun loungers that are right in the shallow part of the water, so you could kind of dip your feet in the water. Just really clean, really well taken care of. We kind of found a cozy spot to sit. There were hammocks that you could lay in.
Lots of sandy beach.
Lots of sandy beach. Loads of chairs, either on the beach, by the pool, in private cabanas that you could rent for $500, which we did not. It was really beautiful. And honestly, I would say compared to Royal's private island, Coco Cay, I'm going to say I like this better.
Yeah, this was nicer.
Coco Cay has a lot for kids too, so if you're taking a cruise with kids, which this cruise is adults only, that was another difference. And we actually like that. Then yesterday we tried the pizza. Now I've heard on videos of other people that the pizza was phenomenal. And I'm going to have to say it was pretty darn good. They do have vegan cheese, so I was really happy about that. The sauce was a good taste. The crust had a good taste to it. It was thinner in the middle and a little thicker around the side. You could create your own or pick from an already pre-selected, pizza that had different items on there. And then last night, we tried the last restaurant on our list, which was Pink Agave. That was their Mexican restaurant. And we started out both with the guacamole dish, which was really cool looking. And the guacamole had pomegranates in it, pomegranate seeds, which was cool. It was all right. For us, we like our guacamole to have a little bit more seasoning to it. Not spicy, but just more taste to it. And then we had the street corn.
That was really good.
I thought it was very good. Yeah, really good flavor to that. But they didn't give you a lot. So if you like the street corn, get 2 of those at least, if you order that.
And I had this ribeye steak that had a bunch of different seasonings, and I'm not exactly sure what was on it. I know there was some kind of cheese on it. It was very good. I'm a steak lover. I'm a kind of a steak snob, so a lot of times I don't want anything on the steak except maybe salt and pepper, and cook it with salt and pepper. And this was definitely coated with a lot of different things, but it was very good. I would recommend it. I would say that that was one of the best things I had also on the trip. One other thing I did have was this shrimp. It was almost like a Cajun shrimp,
Yeah.
but we were in a Mexican restaurant, so I don't know what was on it. Some kind of cayenne pepper, but it had some heat, but it was good.
Okay, so since we're on the food topic, what would you say is your overall impression of the food on Virgin versus Royal?
I think the dinners were slightly better than what you see on Royal, but I kind of like the breakfast and lunches a little more selection on Royal Caribbean. But overall, I would give a slight edge to Virgin.
Okay, so how about the common areas? Because the common areas on Virgin were quite different than what we're used to on Royal. What did you think of that?
Yeah, I just felt like there were these huge, wide open spaces on Royal Caribbean, and you don't get that as much on Virgin. It's much more compartmentalized.
Yeah.
So if you like a cozier feel, Virgin is better.
Really, they don't have any big open spaces on Virgin. Everything is, kind of small, cozy nooks, and a lot of them. So I guess, in a way, it makes you feel like there's not as many people on the ship because they're all dispersed, around all these varied areas. So I guess for me personally, I kind of like that. And as far as ages on the ship, I mean, there were plenty. I felt like it was a good variation of different ages. It was not just all young people at all. We went in January, and it wasn't spring break time or anything like that, so maybe that made a difference as well. Okay, is there any tips that you would give them of things that you would do differently if we went again, knowing what we know now?
Well, the moment you get in the terminal, before you get on the ship, you need to start booking some of the nighttime shows. You can't book them ahead of time.
Yeah.
And things like the comedy show fill up immediately. can book the meals ahead of time
Yeah.
before you ever come to the ship. But that's about the only big tip, I would say.
Yeah, that was actually huge. Yeah, because when you go to get on the ship, you have to go at your certain time slot. So our time slot was 3 o'clock. They start boarding at 2 o'clock. So what happened was we got on the cruise, we went to our room, and then I started looking on my phone at the different classes and shows and things like that, and trying to coordinate it with the times I already coordinated to have dinner. And things were already getting booked up. So as soon as you get in that terminal, before you even go through the lines to check in, get on the app and book all your shows and things like that, because literally they book up fast. And also another thing I would suggest I would do differently next time is I would make our dinner reservations later. Most of the nights we ate at around 5:45, 6 o'clock, and that's normal for us at home. But by doing that, a lot of the shows were at 7, 7:30, 8 o'clock, and we were already in dinner during that time, so there's no way we would have been able to go to the show. So, would you go on Virgin again?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm going to say the same thing. I enjoyed it. Really nothing bad to say about Virgin at all. If you've been considering it, wondering about it, thinking about it, I would say try it out. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any comments, something that maybe we missed covering, leave a comment in the comment section. Till next time, we'll see you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.